Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I thank you all for pushing play and spending a little bit of time with me today. You saw the title. We are going to talk about this retirement process and all the things that I think you should be aware of and things that you may need to make sure that you take care of before you actually retire. Okay. Again, I retired from the United States Postal Service, so I do not know if what I'm about to talk about is the same for all federal workers, or if it's even different for you if you're on the state and local level. So you want to make sure you do your due diligence and do your research, okay? But I want you to pause, go get you a pen and paper, get you a little something to sip on, a little something to drink, and let's talk about it, because there still may be some things that you'll be like, that's a good question. Let me find out about that, even if you're not working for the USPS, okay? So you want to make sure that you ask these some questions. They're very important, and make sure that you're prepared for the process, okay? Because that's what we're going to talk about, all right? All right, so if you have not watched my previous video that I retired from the United States Postal Service at 56 years old with a pension and no Social Security. So if you're curious to know my why and how I plan to live until I'm able to tap into Social Security, definitely click the link below and go check out that video. But I was asked a question in that video, if you would be eligible for retirement if you were this age and had this many years. And I did respond to that person in the comments, but I said, maybe a lot of people might want to know, how do you know if you're eligible to retire? Somebody else also asked me about, how long does it take to get your annual leave, your PTO time? How long does it take before you're able to tap into your TSP, which is Thrift Savings Plan, or for those of you who don't know, that's the same as a 401k plan. So we're going to just get into all the things. I'm going to walk you through this process that I am currently still going through, because that's why I feel like this is an important video. If you are contemplating retiring anytime soon, this is some things you need to know. But even if it's down the line, you are prepared and you know what I'm talking about, because I'm going to give you a little bit of advice so you can start working towards achieving some of those goals. So when it is time to retire, you're ready. Now, I'm not talking about maxing out your 401k. I'm not talking about stuff like that, that you got enough money, you can sustain life and live many, many years. That's part of the plan. And that video will be coming soon once I wrap up all my research. And I want to thank you all who commented in my other videos, giving me a plethora of information, especially when it comes to contributing to a Roth IRA and all of that. I thank you all for that information. I am still doing my research, so when I do come back with that video, my plan is going to be laid out. I'm going to be able to show you what I have done, this, that, and the other. But for now, and that's going to probably take a minute, because like I said, this is a process when you retire. So let's come on, pause, get your pen and paper. Let's sit down and let's go through it. So got to put on my eyes because I want to read this, what it says. Now somebody asked me, I think they're 55 years old, but they've only been at the Postal Service for 5 years. And they wanted to know, were they eligible to retire? So this is when you go through and print out paperwork, this is going to be the first page is going to come up. So let me read to you what it says. Okay. The eligibility requirements to retire under FERS, which is the Federal Employee Retirement System, are as follows. Minimum retirement age, 55 through 57, based on date of birth, with at least 30 years of service. That's one option. Second option, you can be 60 or older with at least 20 years of service. Okay. The next option, you can be 62 or older with at least 5 years of service. Okay. Then it goes on to say you are also eligible to retire with a reduced annuity if you have attained MRA, which is minimum retirement age, and have at least 10 years of credible service. When your total years of service are a combination of military and civilian service. A minimum of 5 years of civilian service is required to be eligible to retire. Okay. I hope that kind of clears up how you would know if you're eligible for retirement. There's pretty much 4 scenarios that would determine if you're eligible for retirement. Okay. So when you get out your printout, first of all, okay, if you work for the US Postal Service, all right, I don't know if you can do it with anybody else. Okay. So again, this is my experience as a postal worker. You can go in light blue. You go to HR and you want to click retirement. You scroll down and there's going to be the word retire in like a light shade of blue. You want to click that. It'll take you to the estimate page. Okay. If you're close to retirement or actually eligible for retirement, it'll give you two options off the bat. It'll give you a year out option. You can click that to see your numbers. It'll give you 6 months out. You can click that. It'll give you all your numbers. But you can also click date, and you can decide what date, and you can click. It'll have all the months and then a year. So you could go in and say, what would my numbers look like June 2026? You can click that. Then you have to wait till the next day for you to be able to go back into that same portal, and it'll show you your numbers. Then you might say, okay, what would my numbers look like June of 2027? You put that in, and of course you have to go back again the next day to that portal, and it'll show you. And you can do that every day with different dates. Print them out, print your packet out, and put it in and line it up. Because at the bottom, it'll show you the date that you chose, and it'll give you all the numbers. Now, in this packet, what the numbers give you is your retirement eligibility date, your retirement comp date. It'll give you your annuity comp date, like what date they actually started computing your retirement eligibility. It'll show you your total actual service years. It'll show you any sick leave that you currently have and any retirement, or should I say annual leave that you currently have. You could have more, but at the time that you print this or actually going there for the estimate, it is based off of what you have actually earned. So even though we get 208 hours, if you do this in June, it's only going to show you the annual leave that you've actually earned, not the whole 208, because this is giving you your estimate based off of where you are currently when you actually go in to print out your annuity estimate. Okay. It will also show you the amount of money you have contributed to your retirement, and it will show you the payment, how much you would receive on that last check for those annual leave hours earned. Okay. Also, if you are over the amount of annual leave that we are allowed to carry over, it will show you hours that you will forfeit depending on what date. So if you put in a date before you would actually use any hours over those hours, because like I think we were allowed to carry over 520. I think supervisors are 600 and something. So if you're over that time and you put in a date that would not realistically allow you to use those hours over, it will show you the hours that you forfeited. We ain't giving away nothing. So make sure that when you're retiring that you've used up anything in excess of what you are allowed to carry over. Okay. Then it goes down and shows you your life insurance, what you have. So if you have basic, option A, B, C, it shows you what you have, how much it is. It shows you the deductions as an employee and what you pay a pay period. And then it will show you the deductions and what you would pay monthly as a retiree. It also shows you your health insurance if you have it. It shows you the plan that you have, how much you pay per pay period as an employee, and then it will show you what you would pay monthly as a retiree or an annuitant. Okay. Then that's on one page. Then it'll go into showing you, I think it shows you like 6 dates. And it shows you like what you've made. Okay. It'll show you what you made per year. Okay. And the gross pay. And then it will come down and it will total 3 averaged. So if you may have made 78 and some change, 79 and some change, 80 and some change, it will average to 3, and it will show you your total 3 average salary. And that's what they're basing your annuity off of, your last high 3s. Okay. Then it will also show you annuity based on your retirement comp date, survivor benefits. So you have your benefits with survivor and benefits without survivor. So if you elect to take a lesser amount of pension, annuity pay every month because you have a spouse that if you should pass away before him and you would like him or her to continue to receive your pension, you have elected to take less. It's not that much less, I will tell you. So let's just say in my case, I'm just randomly picking out something. I just picked up one a pack because I did like 10 packets, y'all. But let's just say for me, for survivor benefits, if I chose to take less per month so that if I died before my husband, he could continue to receive my pension, I would only get $17.39 per month in pension if I chose survivor benefits. If I chose not to do that, I would get $19.33. That is a difference. So that's $19.33 minus $17.39, and it's like $194 difference. Okay, so I would get $194 less per month if I chose the survivor benefits, which I did because, as I stated in that previous video, my husband his company does not have pension. They only have 401k. So I felt like he wouldn't get the $17.39. He would get, and it tells you how much he would get if you chose that option. So I chose that option. So based off of this date here that I had just randomly did, he would get $966 per month in pension or annuitant. So it would be called survivor annuity pay is what it would be. That's what he would get, $966, because I elected to do the survivor benefits. So those are just things to think about. And like I said, I like that they show you that what you would get with and without survivor benefits. It shows you your health benefits costs. If you elect to keep your life insurance, it shows you all of that. And it shows you the comparison, what you pay as an employee, what you pay as an annuitant or retiree. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else kind of important that they kind of touch on. I think that is pretty much it. So I really wanted to put that out there. And so if you are a postal employee and you want to know, you can definitely go into Light Blue and you want to go under HR and you want to click retirement and scroll down and click that baby blue retire button, and it will take you to that next page, and you can go in and you can do as many estimates as you want. Sit down, look at them, compare each one to really decide when you want to retire. Okay. What I noticed doing the comparison, that if I retired in 2026 versus waiting till I was 60, my pension only went up $107. That was the difference. $107 in my annuity pay if I stay working 3 more years. Now, yes, I'm making more money working versus being retired. But what we're talking about is what's the difference in your annuity pay in 3 more years. Because remember, my goal was to work till I was 60. And I just said, you know what? In September, I started running the numbers, and I think I did like 10 different scenarios. And what I come to find that there was only $107 difference in those 3 years. So yeah, I felt like I could make up for that getting back into my platforms. Not necessarily even being monetized on YouTube, but just with brand deals and affiliate links, I was making, $300 plus a month in my affiliate links, and sometimes with my brand deals and stuff, and receiving commission and stuff like that. So it just, for me, made sense to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and push the button. Okay. Now, once you have decided that is, you've looked at it, you figured out your date, whatever, you can do it as early as 6 months to go ahead and push the button. You can do it as early as 6 months out for your retirement. Okay. Now that you know your age ranges, now you know what all information they give you in the packet and the breakdown, and I've told you where to go and how you can look at, your numbers, print out as many different dates as you want and just sit there and compare. So you can kind of at least have an idea of what date would make sense to you. Okay. Now that's done. Now let's talk about it. I had decided to retire December 31st, 2025. What I love about it is that there is an exit interview. That's probably not the correct term. I don't remember the exact term, but I'm going to call it an exit interview. It's where they schedule a date and a time that you call in, you dial in, and it could be more than just you. I think when I did my exit interview, it was like 3 of us on there with a very knowledgeable lady from HR on there. And she was there. The packet for retiring from the Postal Service, I believe it's like 274 pages. Okay. That you have. Now, I mean, it's a plethora of information, example pages, but the only thing that I actually mailed back was this. That's all I mailed back, and a copy of my marriage license. That's it. That's all. But it's a plethora of information. So you can either choose to download the application, the book, or you can ask them to send you the book. Okay. But just know, don't be overwhelmed or discouraged by the book, because you only fill out about 10 pages or so and send it in. Okay. Now, let me say this. I recommend doing the exit interview, because although you can ask retirees, you can ask people questions, great. And I'm pretty sure people are going to give you the information as they understood it. But there's nothing like getting it firsthand from a professional. Kind of like me, I'm telling you my process, but I still recommend that you do your due diligence and talk to someone that's their job, is to know all the ins and outs and everything that's pertaining to retirement, so you know exactly what to expect about the process. Because I chose December 31st, 2025 to be my last day on the rolls. Okay. However, please be aware that this is a 60 to 90 day process. Let me say it again. My last day on the roll at the United States Postal Service was December 31st. It is a 60 to 90 day process, okay, before you may receive your first pension check. Okay, let it sink in for a minute. Okay. All right. You got it. Breathe. Just breathe. It's okay. Because once you do your paperwork and you mail it in, okay, the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, they are then waiting for your payroll department to do whatever they're supposed to do to submit that to them. It goes from there to another department, from there to another department. I can't remember exactly, but it's probably about 3, 4, 5 steps. I'm going to engage in there. I know for certain it's not 1 and it's not 2. So it's definitely between 3 and 5 steps for this to all be wrapped up. And then in my case, I did have some workman's comp. I had a couple of job injuries or whatever. They sent me a form I had to sign for them to get my workman's comp information, because I may have been eligible for an enhancement in my pension pay. So, of course, that's going to kind of sidestep things a little bit. There's not options. If you don't do it and send it in, it may delay your pension. So pretty much you got to say, okay, so you sign that, you send that back. So I don't know how long that may hold it up. So you see what I'm saying, where I'm going with this. There's a few phases if you've got some issues. Okay. I finally got a letter from them. Okay. All right. I finally got a letter from them. And this is what it says. I want to read it to you because I don't want you, It says, your retirement case has been mailed to the Egan Accounting Service. Okay. Your ASC will close out your payroll records. Okay. And forward your retirement application and associated documents to the Office of Personnel Management approximately 2 weeks after your elected retirement date. Okay. At that time, they will send you a notification letter containing all the information you will need to track the process of your application. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So, I received this December the 3rd. All right. It has all the things. So once my last day of work or on the rolls, okay, it says they will close out my payroll records and forward my application, retirement application and everything to OPM, which is the Office of Personnel Management, 2 weeks after my retirement date. Okay. then you will receive a notification. Now, don't be alarmed. I did receive an email stating that my OPM account, which is where if you once you retire, you have to go because you won't have access to Light Blue after your last day. You won't be able to go in there and see your payroll check. You won't be able to go in there and do anything. Okay, so if there's anything you want to see, do whatever. You need to do it before your last day. Okay. So I didn't know if my check was going to be right, wrong. You don't know. And you still won't be, even though I got that email. I think it's just something that automatically happens because you still need your what? Listen to this. This is what you need to expect as your retirement application is finalized. Your last USPS salary check will be sent to your financial institution within 2 pay periods as a net to bank deposit. You hear what I said? Within 2 pay periods. Now, lucky for me, I did get my last check this past pay period that the Postal Service got paid. Okay, so it didn't take me 2 pay periods. I did get it the following pay period, but I need you to be aware that it could take up to 2. Some people say even 3. I think the young lady who did our exit interview said it could take 2 to 3 pay periods, but lucky for me, I did get mine that pay period. Okay. It says if you don't currently have the direct deposit, your paper check will be sent to your work location. Now, this is the next part you need to know. If you have an annual leave balance of earned and unused annual leave, and you are due a lump sum payment in your last direct deposit or check. However, if you have indebtedness against your salary or a pending payroll adjustment of any kind, the annual leave payment will be delayed 1 or 2 pay periods unless the pending matter is resolved. And then they give you a phone number you can call, blah, 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 if you don't receive it at least within a month of your retirement effective date. Okay. Now, so please be aware of that. Office of Personal Management, you will be assigned a civil service annuity, which is a CSA number once your application is received. So you won't be using your EIN, employee identification number, and anything like that. You will receive a civil service annuity number. Okay. And that will be assigned to you. You need to safeguard that number because it will be required for any and all correspondence between you and the Office of Personnel Management. And in that letter, it will include, okay, it says the OPM notification letter will include this information. Okay, it says you should receive your first annuity payment within 5 to 6 weeks of your retirement. OPM normally issues monthly interim payments of approximately 70-80% of the annuity computation, and these interim payments continue until your retirement application is finalized. Payments are made according to the payment instructions you provided on your application. So it says 5 to 6 weeks. What is that? That's a month and a half or longer. Okay. But the lady who did the interview said it could be 6 to 90 days, depending on how fast payroll clears the books and your stuff in, blah, blah, blah. There are steps to this. And even after that, you still may only get 70 to 80% of what you are supposed to get until everything is finalized and done. Now, you will be back paid for what they did not give you, but I need you to be aware of that. Okay. It says, once your ASC has certified your form, which is a 2821, you will receive your certified copy for your records. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that I give you all that information. All right. Now let's talk about the next important thing that you need to know. If you had a designation of beneficiary forms for retirement and or life insurance on file, all that was transferred. You don't have to worry about that information unless you want to update it, which you have to do through OPM. So you still can't do anything after that. So if all that has already changed, why not go ahead and update all that information before you even start the retirement process? So none of this is stuff that you have to worry about. Okay. Because what if something happens to you before then and you haven't had didn't have a chance to change that? That's where probate is going to come into play. And we're going to talk about that in another video. Okay. But moving on. TSP, the big one. Let's talk about TSP. If you have a TSP account, the money may not be available until approximately 30 days after your retirement. After TSP, Thrift Savings Plan 401k, receives the required information from ASC. If you If you wish to withdraw your TSP, do not submit your withdrawal request prior to your retirement date. All TSP forms must be submitted to the TSP service office at the address on the appropriate form, which you will receive. Only the TSP service can process your withdrawal request. Okay. Listen to me. So let's talk about some things real quick. I try not to make these videos too long, but I want to be as informative as I can. Okay. I've read how you know you're eligible. Okay. I've told you how to go and look and get estimates so you can compare different dates and your money and all of that, all the things. Okay. I talked to you about survivor benefits versus no survivor benefits, the difference in the money and what they would get, based off of, my number or my date. Okay. So it's great to do. Okay, because you want to have that so you can compare and all that before you actually push the button to start the process. You can do it as early as 6 months before the date that you have in mind. Okay, be aware that you may not get your last check to 2 to 3 pay periods. Again, I did get mine the very next pay period, the one we just got on I believe the 16th. So I didn't I didn't skip a pay period. I was lucky, or blessed or whatever, but I did get that. Okay. Also, if you owe anything, so if you on the window, work the window and you owe and you're paying, stuff like that. If you owe any monies, that could hold up the paperwork. Okay. So keep that in mind. You may want to make sure that all things that you owe or whatever, that you've cleared that before you do anything. And I did receive my, annual leave, PTO, pay time off on that last check as well. Okay. Also, I told you, it said you're not going to have access to your thrift savings plan. Don't even try it. Okay. You got to clear the books with the postal service and then they notify TSP that you have retired and all of the things. Okay. And then you will be notified by TSP, or you can check randomly or whatever and then make the process of doing whatever you've decided to do, whether it's withdraw or whether it's just take a monthly amount every month. Okay. All that. So I say that to say this. Okay. Now that you've got a plethora of information, these are just some of my suggestions to you. If you are planning on retiring anytime soon or make you aware of for the future. That annual leave, that 520, because that's what it is. And at this point could change at any point, but according to the last contract, we could carry over 520 if your supervisor or management is, I think, 620 or something like that. I would suggest that you have as much of that as you can. Okay. Because with that being on your last check, that's money in the bank. Because I think 520, last time I looked at it, was like, I believe 440 is like 15,000 and some change. And I think based off, I'm a clerk. Okay. So based off of what I made was going to be like 15,000 and something. And, I think 520 is like 19,000 and some change, which you will see when you print out your estimate. It will show you that if you have that, but I'm just letting you know. Okay. That's a nice piece of money to have. Okay. On that last check, because you don't really know how long it may take to get your first check from OPM. And hopefully you've got some money saved. You've got some money to still pay your bills, but that would be a nice incentive, because let me say this, I'm also a part of the Facebook group for the United States Postal Service. And I've seen, and I don't know if they're telling the truth or lying. I hope they're not lying, but some people are saying they're in their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th month and they still haven't got their first pension check. I don't know how true it is, and I don't know why people would lie. But one thing about me, I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm an open book. I don't believe in lying, because why? I don't know. And why put that fear in people like that? So, but just in case it's true, I want you to prepare yourself by having money saved, because we already should have an emergency fund or somewhat thereof. But that annual leave will be your saving grace. okay, to be able to have those, whether it's 440, 520, 600, whatever. The more you have, the better that you can put in your savings account in case you still are paying a mortgage, car payment, student loans, kids in college, bills that you want to pay and you don't want to get behind on. You want to have that so you can put in your account to keep you afloat until you get your first check. Okay, so I wanted to that little nugget. And the fact that you won't have access to get your TSP is sitting there waiting for all of this stuff to happen. Okay. So I don't want you to retire and don't have any annual leave. Don't have any emergency funds or money saved up. And you're thinking I retired like me, clocked out on the 31st. I'm getting a check January 1st. No, ma'am. No, sir. You're not getting that. Okay, so we're hoping that the very next pay period, you are at least getting your bank, as they say, bank your sick leave, bank your annual or whatever. I hope you have banked a decent amount of your annual. So that gives you something to think about. Okay, so if it's this year, we've all got our annual advanced to us and you want to retire this year, maybe you don't take no vacation this year if you plan to retire at the end of this year. Because remember, it's not what they advanced you, it's what you've earned. So if you go in June, you've only earned 100 and some hours. You didn't earn that full 208. And remember, I'm a clerk. I'm just talking to you as a clerk. Okay, or as a mail handler, you've only earned 100 and some of those hours in June. You haven't earned that full 208. So if you go in June, all you're going to get is what you had previously and what you've earned currently in 2026. So keep that in mind, okay? Because that was one of the reasons why I waited to December 31st, because I wanted to make sure I got all of that 208 hours and plus what I had previously saved. I wanted to make sure I didn't have my 440. I didn't, but I still had a decent amount, which was decent. And I appreciated that to add to my little savings account over there while the books are clearing and until I can access my TSP. So I wanted to put that out there. So if retiring this year and you don't already have a plethora of annual banked or saved and you want to go this year, maybe not take a vacation, especially if you haven't already paid for a trip or something like that. Try to ride the storm and maybe say, okay, I can't make it to the end of this year, but I can make it to June or July. That way I know I've at least earned half of that. Okay. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that? Okay. I just really wanted to bring that because I feel like that's not probably taught. I mean, you do get this information when you have your exit interview, but this is nice to have if you're something you're thinking about. And so maybe you say, okay, I don't have no annual leave. Okay. And I can work another year or two and bank me a little bit more annual leave, before I go, or, what I'm saying? Or, oh, I need to be putting me a little money up because I still got a mortgage. I still got to help my child that's in school. I still got some credit cards. I got bills to pay. You don't want to retire and mess up your credit after you retired. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what you still need. And you still got a house and we all know if it ain't one thing, it's something else. Okay. So I just wanted to come on here, give you some information, some suggestions about what I feel like if you haven't prepared for, things to think about. Just something to think about if you're thinking about retiring this year or later. I wanted you to kind of be aware of your minimum requirement age in years. I wanted you to be aware of that they're looking at your high threes. Do you have any WAP that that's going to count against you? How long this process could take. Okay, make you think about that annual leave and start banking it and realizing that it could go. Things could move quick or they may not, according to some people on the Facebook. Like I said, I don't know if they're telling the truth or not. Okay. But I just wanted to come on here and give you all of that. So if you have enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, you found it helpful, informative, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Like I said, I do appreciate you watching. I appreciate you taking the time to send me a comment and I will respond. I'm retired now. I don't have no excuse. So I will respond to your comments. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to find the answer and respond to you. It may take me a minute if I don't know it, but I will definitely respond to you. And if you really found this informative and you think somebody else could benefit from this information, definitely share this video with them, because it is a lot to know. Retiring is a beautiful, wonderful thing. I do not regret it at all. It is probably one of the best decisions I've probably made in my 57 years of life. It's probably one of the best decisions. I loved working for the United States Postal Service. It blessed me in many ways to be able to do a lot of things. I'm so grateful. Okay. And I am thankful that the things that they have in play, like a pension, supplemental income, if you're not eligible for Social Security, that definitely allowed me to be able to retire, because if not, I definitely could not have retired on pension alone. I definitely would not have been able to do that. So I am so thankful, so grateful that our system is set up the way it is. So it did allow me to be able to retire at 56. I am definitely thankful. I do not take that for granted at all. Okay. So definitely, if you found this information informative and you want to share it to other postal workers, or maybe somebody else on the state and local level, to give them things to think about and to look into their retirement system and see how it works, and see if there's some things that they may need to take care of before they retire, definitely share my video. Like I said, over here on this channel, I do all things beauty, from makeup to hair to wigs. I vlog my daily life. I sometimes come on here and do talking head videos and give you a little plethora of information. Sometimes I be running my mouth and rambling. When I said I wasn't gonna make it long, it'd be long. But hey, over here, if you join the Cam family, we have a good time, and I don't gatekeep. I share whatever knowledge I have for you. I give it to you, because I love these YouTube streets. You can learn a lot. Okay. But I always still say, do your due diligence and research information for yourself. Okay. Okay. To make sure that you know that what I'm saying or anybody else is saying is exactly what it is. Okay. So always do yourself a due diligence and verifying information. And if I ever make a mistake on something, correct me in the comments. Baby, I am not too old to be corrected. Okay. All right. And if you are not new to this, but you true to this, and you've already retired, been through all this, and you don't really care about hair, beauty, wigs, but you like to travel, definitely click the link and go over there and check out Babe and I's retirement channel, because over there will be where we do all the things: cruising, traveling abroad, taking state vacations, whether it's right here locally or crossing state lines and doing some fun things. You know what I'm saying? So go over there and subscribe to that channel and turn on your notifications over there, because we are going to enjoy life. All right. I just got to get through this phase of retirement. All right. And I'm still in that process, but I'm telling you, once the dust clears and dust settles and all the things, I'm definitely going to come back on here and tell y'all the plan. But in between there, any other information that I want to give to you guys, we're going to definitely talk about it. All right. So until next time, Cammie loves you. Mwah.